All right, so today we're going deep into the world of David Lynch.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the filmmaker who sadly passed away recently?
Mm-hmm.
You've given us a whole stack of articles here.
Yeah.
And we're going to sift through them and uncover those fascinating insights
Okay.
about his life and career.
It's really amazing how even after his passing,
Yeah.
Lynch's work just seems to be more relevant than ever.
Mhm.
New generations are discovering his films.
Right.
And that distinct Lynchian style is just instantly recognizable.
That's what I find so captivating about him.
Yeah,
That word Lynchian.
right.
It's not just a descriptor.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole aesthetic, a feeling.
Absolutely.
I remember the first time I saw Blue Velvet
Oh, yeah.
and that scene where Jeffrey finds the severed ear
Oh, my gosh.
and the perfectly manicured lawn.
Yes.
It was like a punch to the gut.
That's classic Lynch, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah.
The way he juxtaposes the mundane with the deeply disturbing. It's like he's peeling back the layers of everyday life to reveal the darkness lurking beneath.
Yeah.
One of the articles even mentions a scholar who defines Lynchian
Okay.
as the intrusion of the uncanny into the quotidian.
Wow.
It's not just about surrealism.
Right.
It's about how that surrealism makes us question the very fabric of reality.
It's like he's saying, don't trust what you see. There's always something more going on.
Exactly.
And that's not just limited to his darker films.
Right.
Even his forays into comedy, like the work he did with Mel Brooks, have this understanding of the darker side of human nature.
Absolutely. Lynch was always fascinated by that duality in humanity, the light and shadow within us all. And that fascination evolved throughout his career, starting with his experimental debut, Eraserhead.
That film still makes me shudder.
Oh, yeah.
I remember reading somewhere that even Stanley Kubrick
Oh, wow.
was obsessed with Eraserhead.
Really?
He supposedly made the cast and crew of The Shining watch it for inspiration.
It's true.
Wow.
Kubrick saw something in that film.
Yeah.
A rawness and unsettling power that resonated with his own exploration of psychological horror.
Yeah.
And Eraserhead is a prime example of how Lynch used the grotesque
Okay.
to explore deeper themes.
Right.
The article we have from The Guardian even compares the film's industrial setting and imagery to the anxieties of post-World War II America.
It's amazing how a film so unconventional
Right.
could gain such a cult following
Yeah.
and even influences cinematic giant like Kubrick.
It speaks to the originality of Lynch's vision.
Yeah.
He wasn't afraid to experiment,
Right.
to push the boundaries of what cinema could be. And Eraserhead was just the beginning.
Yeah.
From there, he went on to direct a string of what we could call cult classics.
His breakout success was definitely The Elephant Man in 1980.
Oh, yeah.
It was a powerful story.
Absolutely.
Beautifully told. And it earned him 8 Oscar nominations.
Wow.
It's incredible how he went from the gritty experimental world of Eraserhead
Yeah.
to this more traditional, almost classical style of filmmaking.
It shows his versatility as a director.
Yeah.
But even in The Elephant Man, you see those Lynchian elements, the contrast between beauty and ugliness, the exploration of social isolation, and the search for human connection.
And of course, there's Blue Velvet in 1986,
Oh, yeah.
a neo-noir masterpiece that solidified his reputation
Right.
for delving into the dark underbelly of seemingly perfect small towns. It's like he takes the American dream and turns it on its head,
Yeah.
revealing the nightmares hiding just beneath the surface.
Blue Velvet really plays with that sense of duality we were talking about earlier.
Right.
On the surface, you have this idyllic town,
Okay.
but underneath, it's seething with secrets and desires.
Yeah.
And then there's Mulholland Drive, released in 2001,
Right.
which to this day is still being debated and dissected.
That one left my head spinning. I remember reading in Sight and Sound magazine that it was ranked as the 8th greatest film of all time.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing how Lynch can create these films that are both critically acclaimed and still so deeply unsettling and mysterious.
He was a master at tapping into our collective unconscious, our deepest fears and desires.
Yeah.
In Mulholland Drive, he uses the backdrop of Hollywood to explore the allure and the darkness of dreams, blurring the lines between fantasy and reality.
Yeah, and that blurring of lines seems to be like a hallmark of his work.
Yeah.
Especially when he transitioned to television with Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks was like nothing else on television at the time.
Right.
A murder mystery wrapped in a surreal, dreamlike atmosphere. One of the articles mentions how Lynch intentionally used techniques borrowed from soap operas.
Oh, really?
Like melodramatic acting and heightened emotions.
Okay.
But then subverted those tropes by injecting his own brand of darkness and absurdity.
It's like he took the familiar and made it strange.
Yeah.
Making us question our own expectations of what a TV show could be.
Exactly.
And the music.
Oh, yeah.
That haunting theme song.
It's so good.
I read somewhere that Lynch actually won a Grammy for it.
He did.
Really?
It's incredible how his creativity extended beyond filmmaking.
Yeah.
Lynch was a true Renaissance man.
Yeah, he was.
A painter, a furniture designer, a musician, even a cartoonist.
Wow.
It's like he couldn't stop creating.
It makes you wonder how all those different artistic expressions influenced his filmmaking.
Yeah.
Did his experience with painting affect his use of visuals in film?
It's fascinating to think about, isn't it?
Yeah.
One of the articles draws a parallel between the textures and abstract forms in his paintings and the way he frames shots and uses light and shadow in his films.
Oh, interesting.
They both evoke a similar feeling of unease, of something lurking beneath the surface.
And speaking of lurking beneath the surface, we have to talk about the man behind the mystery.
Right.
What made David Lynch tick?
Yeah.
He was notoriously private about his personal life.
He was.
But there are definitely recurring themes and ideas that run through his work.
He seemed particularly fascinated by the duality of human nature.
Yeah.
The good and evil that exist within us all.
Right.
One article even suggests that his childhood in a seemingly idyllic small town, juxtaposed with the darkness he explored in his films, reflects his own internal struggle with those opposing forces.
And then there's his fascination with dreams.
Oh, yeah.
He often talked about the power of dreams and how they can unlock hidden truths about ourselves.
Absolutely.
In fact, he even developed a unique approach to filmmaking.
Oh, wow.
Called intuitive filmmaking.
Okay.
Where he would let his subconscious guide the creative process.
That approach is evident in films like Mulholland Drive and Inland Empire, where the narratives are fragmented and dreamlike, defying traditional storytelling structures.
Yeah. It's like he's inviting us to piece together the puzzle of his films, using our own intuition and interpretations.
Which can be incredibly frustrating for some viewers.
Oh, yeah?
Especially those who prefer clear-cut resolutions.
Absolutely.
But I think that's part of what makes Lynch so brilliant.
Right.
He doesn't spoon-feed us answers.
Yeah.
He wants us to think for ourselves, to grapple with the ambiguity and come to our own conclusions.
Exactly. He's more interested in evoking a feeling, an atmosphere, than providing a neat and tidy explanation.
Yeah.
And that's where his mastery of sound design comes in.
Okay.
One of the articles describes his use of sound as a character in itself.
Wow.
Often using distorted sounds and industrial noises
Interesting.
to create a sense of unease and disorientation.
It's like he's using sound to tap into our primal fears.
Oh, yeah.
To create a visceral reaction that goes beyond language.
Absolutely.
And then there's the other side of Lynch.
Yeah.
The man who practiced transcendental meditation daily.
And advocated for its benefits. It's such an interesting contrast.
It is.
This dark, surreal filmmaker.
Yeah.
Who also embraced a practice associated with peace and inner stillness.
It does seem paradoxical.
Yeah.
But maybe those two sides weren't so different after all.
Right.
Maybe the meditation allowed him to explore those darker spaces without being overwhelmed by them.
Okay.
To find a sense of balance amidst the chaos.
It's almost like he needed that stillness, that inner peace, to counter the darkness he was confronting in his art.
And speaking of his art, let's delve into some of the specific films that really define his work.
Right.
Starting with Eraserhead.
Okay.
I know we already touched on it.
Yeah.
But it's such a unique and influential film.
It is.
That it deserves a closer look.
Right.
Eraserhead is truly a film unlike any other.
Yeah.
One of the articles describes it as a visual and oral assault.
Wow.
That reflects Lynch's own anxieties about fatherhood and responsibility.
The imagery is so grotesque and unsettling.
Right.
And the sound design is just as jarring.
Yeah.
It's a film that really gets under your skin.
And then there's The Elephant Man,
right,
which was a critical and commercial success.
He was.
Showing a softer side to Lynch while still retaining his signature style.
It's a beautifully crafted film that tells deeply moving story about John Merrick.
Right.
A man with severe physical deformities who is exploited for his condition, but ultimately finds compassion and human connection.
And John Hurt gives an incredible performance as Merrick.
He does.
And Lynch's direction is both sensitive and powerful.
Absolutely.
It's a film that proves Lynch could handle a more traditional narrative structure,
Right.
while still infusing it with his unique vision.
And then we have Blue Velvet,
Okay.
which is a masterpiece of neo-noir suspense with a distinctly Lynchian twist.
Right.
It's a film that explores the dark underbelly of Americana.
The hidden secrets lurking beneath the surface of a seemingly idyllic town.
Blue Velvet is a masterclass in atmosphere and tension.
Oh, it is.
The scene with Dennis Hopper inhaling amyl nitrite
Oh, yeah.
while listening to Roy Orbison's In Dreams is one of the most iconic and disturbing scenes in cinema history.
Right.
It perfectly captures that Lynchian blend of beauty, violence, and bizarre humor.
And let's not forget Mulholland Drive.
Oh, yeah?
A film that continues to fascinate and frustrate audiences with its labyrinthine narrative and dreamlike atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's a film that demands multiple viewings, each time revealing new layers of meaning and symbolism.
Mulholland Drive is a prime example of Lynch's intuitive filmmaking approach.
It is.
He has said that he didn't even know what the film was about
Really?
until he finished editing it.
Wow.
It's a film that embraces ambiguity
Right.
and allows the viewer to create their own interpretations.
And that ambiguity is part of what makes it so compelling.
Yeah.
It's like a dream that you can't quite shake, full of vivid images and emotions that linger long after the film is over.
Right.
And speaking of dreams,
Yeah.
we can't talk about David Lynch without mentioning Twin Peaks.
It was a show that truly broke the mold,
It did.
blending small-town mystery, quirky characters
Yeah.
and surreal dream sequences
Uh-huh.
into a groundbreaking television experience.
Twin Peaks was a phenomenon
Yeah, it was.
that captivated audiences and critics alike.
Right.
It was a show that dared to be different, to challenge the conventions of television storytelling,
Yeah.
and embrace the strange and the unconventional.
And it had a profound impact on the television landscape,
It did.
paving the way for other auteur-driven shows that pushed the boundaries of what was possible in the small screen.
It's amazing to think that a show as weird and wonderful as Twin Peaks
I know, right?
could become such a cultural touchstone.
It's a testament to Lynch's vision
It is.
and his ability to connect with audiences on a deeper level,
Right.
even when he's presenting them with something utterly bizarre and unsettling.
And that connection was evident in the outpouring of grief and appreciation from fans when he passed away.
Yeah.
His work clearly resonated with people on a deeply personal level.
And it continues to resonate.
It does.
Twin Peaks was revived in 2017,
Yeah.
over 25 years after the original series ended.
Right.
And it was just as strange and captivating as ever.
It was a gift to fans,
Oh,
a
yeah.
chance to revisit that world
Well,
and delve even deeper into its mysteries.
And it proved that Lynch's vision was as potent as ever,
It did.
capable of captivating audiences across generations.
It's a testament to his enduring legacy.
It is.
He was a true original,
Yeah.
a visionary who changed the way we think about film and television.
Mm,
And while we've covered a lot of ground here today,
right.
we've barely scratched the surface.
There's so much more to explore.
Yeah.
His music, his paintings, his furniture designs. The man was a creative force, constantly pushing boundaries and defying expectations.
But beyond his creative output,
Yeah.
there's also the question of his personal life
Right.
and how it shaped his art.
Lynch was notoriously private,
Right.
rarely giving interviews or revealing much about his personal life.
Yeah.
But those who knew him described him as kind, compassionate, and surprisingly down to earth.
Really?
It's an interesting contrast, isn't it?
It is.
The darkness and intensity of his films
Yeah.
versus the seemingly gentle nature of the man himself.
It is. And while we can only speculate,
Right.
perhaps that duality is what allowed him to delve into those darker spaces in his art, to explore the shadows of human nature without being consumed by them.
Yeah.
Maybe that inner peace he cultivated through transcendental meditation
Right.
gave him the strength to confront those difficult emotions and transform them into something beautiful and meaningful.
It's a reminder that even the most enigmatic artists
Right.
are human beings with their own story,
Yeah.
their own struggles and triumphs. And those stories often find their way into their art,
They do.
enriching it with depth and complexity.
Absolutely.
So as we continue our deep dive into the world of David Lynch,
Yeah.
let's remember that he was more than just a filmmaker.
Right.
He was a father,
Yeah.
a husband, a spiritual seeker,
Uh-huh.
and a man who, despite his fame and success,
Yeah.
remained grounded and true to himself.
And maybe that's the most important lesson we can learn from him.
Okay.
To embrace all aspects of ourselves, the light and the shadow, and to find beauty and meaning in the most unexpected places.
It's a lesson that resonates deeply.
It does.
Even as we mourn the loss of this extraordinary artist,
Right.
he was a true original,
He was.
a visionary who left behind a legacy that will continue to inspire and challenge us for generations to come.
Absolutely.
And now, as we delve further into the depths of Lynch's work,
Okay.
I'm curious to know what stands out to you most.
Oh, yeah.
What aspect of his life or career do you find most intriguing? For me, it's that constant tension in his work,
Yeah.
that push and pull between darkness and light, beauty and ugliness. It's like he's saying, look, this is the world, warts and all.
Yeah.
It's messy, it's confusing,
Right.
and sometimes it's downright terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a strange kind of beauty to be found in all of it.
And he doesn't shy away from those uncomfortable truths.
Right.
One of the articles we have here highlights a critic
Okay.
who calls Lynch a poet of the subconscious,
Interesting.
someone who wasn't afraid to delve into the darkest corners of our minds
Right.
and reveal what we try so hard to repress.
He forces us to confront those shadows within ourselves,
Yeah.
which can be unsettling,
Uh-huh.
but also incredibly liberating.
It's like he's giving us permission to acknowledge
Right.
those darker impulses, those hidden desires, and to see them not as something to be ashamed of,
Right.
but as a part of what makes us human.
And by doing so,
Yeah,
he opens up new possibilities for storytelling.
he does.
He shows us that cinema can be more than just entertainment.
Right.
It can be a tool for exploring the complexities of human nature,
Uh-huh.
for challenging our perceptions, and for expanding our understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
It's like he's saying, don't settle for easy answers.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask difficult questions. And don't shy away from the unknown.
And that's a message that resonates deeply,
It does.
especially in a world that often tries to simplify everything,
Right.
to spoon-feed us neat and tidy explanations.
Lynch reminds us that life is messy,
Right.
unpredictable, and full of contradictions.
Yeah.
And he encourages us to embrace that ambiguity, to find beauty in the unexpected,
Right.
and to see the world through a different lens.
I also find it fascinating how his personal beliefs, particularly his devotion to transcendental meditation,
Yeah.
seem to have influenced his art. He often talked about the importance of finding that inner stillness, that sense of peace amidst the chaos of the world.
It's almost like that practice gave him the strength
Yeah.
to confront the darkness he explored in his films,
Right.
to transform those unsettling emotions into something profound and thought-provoking.
And it's a reminder that even the most unconventional artists,
Right.
the ones who challenge our perceptions and make us uncomfortable,
Yeah.
are still seeking truth and meaning in their own way.
Absolutely.
They might express it differently,
Uh-huh.
they might approach it from a different angle,
Right.
but they're still grappling with the same fundamental questions about life, death, love, and the human condition.
And Lynch's unique approach, his willingness to break the rules and defy expectations,
Yeah.
has paved the way for countless other filmmakers and artists who are now pushing the boundaries of storytelling and exploring new ways of expressing themselves.
He's left behind an incredible legacy.
He's
A body of work that is both challenging and rewarding,
right.
unsettling and inspiring.
And it's a legacy that continues to evolve
Yeah.
as new generations discover his films and find their own meaning in his enigmatic vision.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of David Lynch,
Okay.
I think it's important to remember that his work is not for everyone.
Right. It's not meant to be easily digested
Yeah.
or passively consumed. It's meant to be wrestled with, debated,
Yeah.
and explored on multiple levels.
And that's what makes it so exciting.
It does.
Lynch's films are not just stories.
Right.
They're experiences.
Yeah.
They're journeys into the unknown explorations of the subconscious and confrontations with the shadows within ourselves.
And while those journeys might not always be comfortable,
Right.
they are always unforgettable. They stay with you long after the credits have rolled,
Yeah.
lingering in your mind,
Right.
prompting you to ask questions, to reconsider your own perceptions. Yeah.
And to see the world in a new light.
So if you're looking for a filmmaker who will challenge you,
Right.
provoke you, and make you think,
Yeah.
then David Lynch is definitely worth exploring.
Absolutely.
But be prepared for a wild ride.
Yeah.
His films are not for the faint of heart,
Right.
but for those who are willing to dive deep, to confront the unknown, and to embrace the ambiguity of life. They offer a truly transformative experience.
And as David Lynch himself once said,
Yeah.
the more you throw black into a color, the more dreamy it gets.
So let's embrace those dreams, explore those shadows,
Yeah.
and continue to be inspired by the strange and wonderful world of David Lynch.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We hope it sparked your curiosity and given you a deeper understanding of this truly enigmatic artist.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning,
Yeah.
and keep dreaming.